If you thought that Pennywise the Dancing Clown was done terrorizing your nightmares, I have some bad news for you. It seems almost like a certainty at this point that the terrifying It saga will continue with a Chapter 3. This time, I'm pretty sure Pennywise is going to be scarier than ever. Some of the freakiest transformations in the book didn't end up in either adaptation. Some cuts were made due to CGI issues, time periods, or just ideas being better on the page than on a big screen. Then there were a few ideas that kinda seemed like they were too terrifying, even by its standards. For starters, two minor characters in the original novel, Eddie and Dorsey Cochran, aren't seen much in either film. Eddie is officially listed as missing as an Easter egg in the film, but the book goes into more horrifying detail. Like many of the kids in Derry, the pair are terrorized by their father. It got so bad that Dorsey was actually taken out by that very violent behavior. Later on, Eddie is terrorized by Dorsey much the same way Bill is terrorized by Georgie. Pennywise uses that traumatic moment to lure Eddie in to become his next harrowing victim. It's even theorized that the severed arm from Part 1 could have been Eddie's. This plotline could easily be explored in a new film. The main way that Pennywise terrorized the kids in the original book wouldn't have made sense in the new movies. The first movie was set in the 80s, while the book was set in the 50s, during the first part. It terrified them by showing itself as classic monsters from that era. It appeared as the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, a mummy, and more. Seeing as it was very much active in the 50s, there's nothing stopping them from using horrifying updates of these classic monsters to horrify a modern audience. I don't think that universal dark universe with the classic monsters is ever going to happen, so why not? It also takes the form of more animals in the book. The creature likes to horrify the kids with flying leeches, piranhas, and a giant crow monster, and even the shark from Jaws in the 80s section. If a new movie introduces a character with some sort of phobia for one of those beings, it could add a whole new level of terror. It Chapter 2 dropped a ton of hints that the next chapter in the franchise could actually be a prequel. The movie showed us several pictures of the original Pennywise, and he looks like a straight-up psycho. It seems quite possible that we could see the secret origin of everyone's favorite dancing clown. Well, that is unless you like Joaquin Phoenix's dancing Joker more. You guys tell us, which clown had the better moves? What's really terrifying about the concept of an origin movie is that this would be a version of it that doesn't quite have the whole lure children into my terrifying lair thing down. There's something deeply chilling about seeing this evil creature arrive in Derry and slowly figure out how to manipulate children's fears and then consume them by taking the form of their nightmares and traumas. One could imagine a scene where the scared being tried in vain to communicate with the humans, only to be met with violence. Perhaps it learned that the only way it could truly survive on Earth was to be the most terrifying monster it could be. While the original two movies did a great job of portraying the terror of it, they didn't exactly go into the motivation behind its actions. That level of empathy could make the other two films more tragic and terrifying at the same time. Not only that, but the original Pennywise likely has a terrifying story all his own. From a brief look at the all-too-human dancing clown, it seems very possible that he was attacking people long before it stole his image and namesake. Why is Pennywise its favorite form to take? Is it possible that Pennywise was some sort of monstrous human that taught it how to hunt and attack children? Perhaps the creature's entire lifestyle for decades was based around this one real-life human's monstrous behavior. That still wouldn't explain why Pennywise has a giant egg-shaped head, though. As scary as an origin tale would be, it would be so much more terrifying if somehow it managed to get resurrected after the loser seemingly took it down for good in the second movie. As scary and as unhinged it was before would be nothing compared to how terrifying it would be if it was nearly destroyed. Not only that, but our heroes would think that their dancing monster was slain, passing the responsibility on to potentially a new generation of kids. The original book went into way more detail about the mythos behind it. There are turtle gods, other universes, and more of a focus on the rituals in the original book. This all points to a larger universe that Stephen King mines in other books like The Dark Tower and The Shining. Small attempts have been made to acknowledge the shared universe in these films, but nothing substantial. Everyone loves a good cinematic universe right now, so why not? Part of the horror of Pennywise could be enhanced by combining that horror with others in the Stephen King universe. Perhaps Pennywise goes to the Overlook Hotel from The Shining and Dr. Sleep to recharge itself. We could also see it come against heroes like Danny Torrance or Roland Decane from other movies. It could take the form of their nightmares, causing much greater threats than the silly fears of children. Honestly, I'd pay to see Idris Elba shoot Pennywise a few times in the face, wouldn't you? There you have it, all the horrifying forms it could take when the third chapter inevitably arrives. What do you guys think will happen next in Stephen King's horrifying series? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more from CBR.